All right, everybody. Well, hello, everyone. I'm glad you could make it. And I want to welcome everybody to the fourth annual LIFT conference. And we are so glad you could make it. My name is Angela Sagamonian, and I am this year's co-director, along with my partner, Catherine.
And hello, everyone. My name is Catherine, and I am so glad to see everyone here. How's everyone feeling tonight, and what are we most looking forward to? Go ahead and feel free to tell us in the chat.
All right, and while we're introducing ourselves in the chat, I want to talk about the LIFT conference and what it means to us. The LIFT conference started in 2018 by students just like you and me who wanted to connect with others who had a passion for service. As you might have seen on our website and on the screen right here, the acronym LIFT stands for Leadership, Innovation, Fellowship, and Transformation. And these are the traits that we really want to embrace during this conference. Now, before we get started, just a few things to keep in mind. Please keep your microphone muted at all times during the presentation. And feel free to turn your camera on. During the interactive sessions and breakout rooms, we encourage you to turn your camera on and unmute yourself. Also, if any questions come up, feel free to put them in the chat and our staff will be monitoring the chat. At the end of the presentation, we'll share some questions with the presenter. Also, following the presentation, we'll have some reminders about the conference, more session times, and how to participate and get an extra raffle ticket. In addition, for each workshop in this speaker series, there is a reflection guide available. To view the reflection guide for this session, please visit the conference website, and I'll put that link in the chat in just a few moments. So this reflection guide will provide some helpful resources if you want to dive deeper into the topic, and it will provide some questions to get you thinking more about the topic and how to relate the topic into your life and roles as student leaders.
Now, before we get started, we would like to introduce our keynote speaker of the evening, Lucca Petrucci. So Lucca Petrucci is a broadcast coach, business consultant, and speaker who helps people discover, amplify, and broadcast their authentic voice. He helps amplify their message so they can leave their mark while they are here in this lifetime. And not only does he have a YouTube channel, but he is the host of the podcast, Living in Your Passion Place, which is downloaded over 12,000 times in 55 plus countries. Like all of us, Lucca is a former Fresno State student and Richter Center ambassador. And you can learn more about Lucca's coaching and consulting programs and listen to his podcast at luccapetrucci.com. And now, Lucca, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Catherine and Angela, for that sweet introduction. And thank you all for being here this evening. I am really looking forward to connecting with you and really just having an important discussion about leading yourself and others with confidence by owning your authenticity. I graduated from Fresno State almost 6 years ago. So when I was asked to be part of this conference, I was so excited because Fresno and Central Valley have such a near and dear place in my heart. And really all of California does. I've lived in a lot of places in California. I grew up in Madera, California, then Fresno, and now I live in Los Angeles. So I'm excited to be here with you. I'm going to share my screen right now. And here we go. So I'm going to first off talk about some of the intentions of my keynote tonight. So you'll walk away with 3 things. First off, a clear understanding of your originality, what is uniquely you and is something that you can only share in the exact way that you can. Second, you'll walk away with principles, tools, questions, and insights that will support you in continuously tapping into your authenticity daily as you're evolving as a human. And lastly, you'll walk away with knowing how to take ownership of your uniqueness and lead yourself first, and then others from that space confidently, and how to empower others to do the same. So before I lead any keynote, and I'm going to call this just a discussion, more of an interactive workshop, because I'm going to be asking you a lot of questions. I'm going to be learning from you a lot. I have some guidelines. So the first one is, I want you to imagine we are in a room connecting and conversing together. So really, let's create that energy. I love for you to have your camera on so we can all see your lovely face. And I really believe that our conversation will be more impactful that way. Secondly, I want you to see this as a two-way conversation. I'll learn from you and you'll learn from me. And you'll remember what you say and not what I say. So contributions and shares, I'm all about it, are welcome. Put them in the chat or come off mute and share, raise your hand, do all the things. And questions are welcome during the conversation. And the last couple things, I want you to know that one or more gold nuggets are really waiting for you in this conversation. If you don't already have a pen and paper, I would recommend getting one. I'm going to be leading you through a couple exercises, and it's going to be the best support of you if you have a pen, paper, and 3 blank pieces of paper. And the last 2, I'm all about having fun. That's one of my core values. So let's get personal and let's have fun. And this last thing, I would love all of us to participate in this. So before I start my day, or before I lead a client call or something like this, I use this tool called a clearing. And it's a tool that I use to really keep me present and in this moment. I know so many things are happening in life, in school right now, and what a clearing does, it really shelves whatever's happening. It doesn't ignore it, just so you can be fully present. So I have 2 questions for you, and I would love to hear from one person in the big room, and then we're going to go into the breakout rooms. So the first one is, what do you choose to release for our next 50 minutes together to be fully present? So what's one thing you choose to release out of your space? And the second is, now that you have a little more room in here, what do you choose to receive and welcome in? So I'll give you a little time to think about that. I'll share mine. I'm just really going to listen in. What I'm releasing right now is perfection. Perfection is not real. And what I'm welcoming in is trusting myself and trusting that the message that needs to be shared and the words that we share together happen. So I would love for one person to just come on real quick and share something they're releasing and then welcoming. And then we're going to pop into a breakout room. We're going to be in one for 6 minutes with 3 people. And we're going to share a couple things I'll put in the chat. But yeah, someone come on and just say hello and share what you're releasing and what you're welcoming in.
Hi, I'm Lindsay. So one thing that I'm choosing to release during our time together is stress. I'm sure a lot of people can relate stress and anxiety with school and stuff like that, just to try to get it out of my mind for a second. And then one thing I'm going to try to welcome in is confidence. Being in a leader position, sometimes I feel shy or not so confident. So I'm going to try to allow myself to welcome that in so I can try to absorb as much information as I can.
Lindsay, thanks for sharing that. And I really believe what I'm going to share is going to help you with that confidence piece. So Melissa is going to put everyone in a breakout room. And I just put in the chat, you're going to share your name, where you're from, what you're releasing and welcoming in, and then your intention. So what do you want to get out of our time together? What do you want to learn? What do you want to walk away with? I'll see you very soon. Okay, awesome. Well, here we go, team. Tonight, we are going to discuss how owning your authenticity is key to leading yourself and others with confidence. And before we dive into that, I want to share a story with you. So for decades of my life, I thought confidence was something that I solely gained and built from external validation. Whether it was a college professor saying, "Lucca, that presentation you gave was incredible. Keep up the great work." Or a family member saying, "I love the man you're becoming. My children look up to you so much, and it makes me happy to know that you're a mentor to them." Or a client telling me, "You're doing what you're meant to be doing as a coach. You're awesome, Lucca." Now, I bet a lot of us love compliments and constructive feedback that sounds like this. And I so appreciate it, especially from people that I look up to and respect. And I believe that self-improvement through advice from others is important. And what I know now is that if all my confidence is solely built on how people respond to what I do, what happens when they do not respond well? What happens when they criticize you or share their opinion saying you are not good at something, you are not meant for a certain role or career path, or they do not approve of who you are at your essence and accept you? So as I was thinking about this over the last few weeks, it brought me back to my time at Fresno State. So like I shared before, I graduated almost 6 years ago, and I was taking a writing course. And I've always had a love-hate relationship with writing. I don't know if anybody can relate, but that's me. So for a midterm, I had to write a 10-page paper on something that I was passionate about, and I love Disney. So I chose the Walt Disney Company. And as I was writing this paper, I spent hours and hours and days in the Henry Madden Library, researching and writing. And I wanted to do a great job because I cared about this course, I cared about my writing ability, and I cared about the topic. So I diligently wrote this paper through my authentic lens of how I see the world and how the Walt Disney Company has impacted millions and me. I really felt that my paper was so original. It felt like an expression of who I was, and that felt good to me. And it was really honest and just true to me. So I finally finish it, turn it in. I will never forget a feeling like turning in something after you spend a lot of time on. And a couple weeks passed, and my professor asked me to come to office hours. And I was like, okay, great, let's talk. So I arrived and sat down and was really excited to talk about the paper. And that's when the criticism flew in. That's when the opinions came a-coming. All I heard, and I don't know if this was the exact words, but all I heard was, "You are not a good writer, Lucca. This is not the kind of writing I was wanting. Please edit and revise and revise and revise." And I saw Bianca did a little sad face. Yeah, I was bummed. I now told myself through affirmations that I'm not a good writer, that how you express yourself through writing isn't good enough. And this took me back to times in high school and college when certain teachers critiqued me and my confidence just kept on going down and down and down for writing. And I just, right now I'm thinking about, but what about all the good feedback I got about my writing from many other teachers and professors? Did I remember that in the moment? Nope. What about how much I love writing authentically? Did I remember that in the moment? Nope. I respected this teacher and their experience, and I let them be responsible for all of my confidence. I let one person's opinion control my confidence, control how I felt about myself and my ability. I let one person control the decisions that I concluded about myself. I don't know if anybody can relate to this. And this is something that I experienced year after year after year. I kept giving away my confidence and giving my power away. If someone I respected and looked up to didn't approve of what I did or who I was being, there went my confidence. Now, 7 years ago, when I came out as a gay man, this happened many times. Family members telling me, "I don't approve of you and how you act. You can't be gay and masculine. You can't be gay and have faith in a higher power." And I asked myself, but what if what I was doing, how I was acting, or who I was being was so authentic to me? What if I was just expressing my inner confidence and the truth of what I know, that I know, that I know, that I know is honest, real, and true about me? Is it incorrect for me to do something that is different from other people who I've looked up to, even though it's true to me? Is it incorrect for me to embrace the original way I speak, I share, and express my originality? What if I write differently from the norm and it's authentic to me and it still achieves this intention and goal successfully? How can I be incorrect if what I'm saying is honest, real, and true about me and is coming from a genuine space of love and care? So with a lot of learning and a lot of listening and a lot of just living life, what I know now is that you can't control external beliefs, actions, feelings, opinions, and judgments. Today and always, for the rest of our lives, if you don't know this, embrace. People will have their opinions, their judgments, and their beliefs about what they feel is correct and incorrect. And that's okay. They're entitled to their opinions, as each of us, as all 53 of us are, and as I am. That is their human experience, and this is your human experience. This is my human experience. We're meant to be different. We're meant to be unique. Now, what you can control, and this is what we're going to talk about for the next 35 minutes together, is how they affect your confidence. What you have control of is what you choose to accept and release, what we just did. You have the power of discernment. You can recognize what thoughts, actions, and feelings and beliefs you agree with and you don't. You can choose the feedback you want to incorporate in your life, and the choice is yours. You can control giving away your power and confidence, and you have the choice to also keep it. And it all starts with an internal choice. It all starts right here. It starts with the self. Choice is key. So first off, we're going to discuss, like, how do I build this confidence from within, something that's internal, because you have the choice, like I just said, to control this. Now, for many of my years in my life, especially in college, I didn't realize that I had the choice to control this. So I just want to let you know that you really all do it. And just like I shared, it starts within. Before you lead others confidently, you have to lead yourself. So that's why we're going to start really within. I believe that you cannot give others what you cannot give yourself. And a lot of people say the line, fake it till you make it. I don't agree. You can fake it till you make it for the long term. I feel like it starts to get hard and it doesn't feel authentic. So how do you build self-confidence? That's the big question. How do you build confidence in your words and abilities? So I'm gonna ask you a question in a bit. And first off, I want you to know this. And the reason why I'm just gonna straight up tell you this, because I wish someone in college told me this. My freshman year, my sophomore year, my junior year, especially my senior year, as I was going into uncertainty, as I was so nervous, as I was so thinking that I had to go in this perfection mold, get a good job, let it pay all the bills, get a home, like, go down this perfection route. So I want you to know that you're one of a kind, that there is only one person that can do what you can do in the exact way that you can do it. There is only one person that can share the message you have on your heart in the exact way you speak it. There is only one person that can show up with your presence and your energy and lead and inspire the people the way you can. There's only one person with your human experience. And from a scientific perspective, like, there's only one person with your exact fingerprints, okay? So no other person on your leadership team, whether it's Fresno State or San Francisco or another college throughout California, or on your campus, in the nation, in the world, can shine like you. So I want you to know that this is 100% true, and it may not feel like it all the time. Can anybody agree with that? So this is why we're here. This is why we're here. So please keep that insight in a front pocket next to you. And let's continue to talk about building your confidence. So I really love to look up words. So what confidence means, the Latin word, it means confidere, and it means with full trust. So I really like to look at the words confidence and trust, one and the same. Self-confidence, self-trust. In the dictionary, confidence means firm trust. It also means the state of feeling certain about the truth. So the truth that's in here, it's a feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation, not someone else's, from one's appreciation of one's own ability and quality. So the first thing that I want to share, the first principle is right here, that self-confidence is built by trusting your unique abilities, qualities, and truth. Self-confidence is built by trusting your authenticity, which is your truth. So I want to talk about trust for a little bit. How do you build self-trust? You know, how do you learn to trust yourself? I've been thinking about that often for the last 6 months. And the question I want to ask you before you answer that, and either come off mute and share or put it in the chat, is how do you build trust in your relationships? So I want you to pinpoint one relationship right now, whether it's a friend, your partner, a family member, a fellow leadership teammate. This is the question I want you to answer right here. And I'm going to put it up so you see it. And I'll give you about 60 seconds to just think about this. How do you build trust in relationships?
I think for myself, I feel trust in the relationships that I'm in if I can be myself and not feel like I'm being judged by the people that I'm like surrounding myself with.
Bianca, that's good. I'm taking a note for that. So being yourself and not judge. Someone else come on and share. I'm going to stop my screen share so I can see you all. How do you build trust in your relationships? I feel that there's 2 more people that really want to share something. If you're getting a little nervous, it's probably you.
For me, I would probably say communication. That's like a really big one to like gain trust, knowing you can rely on somebody and that you can communicate and, you know, like be real and authentic.
Yes, communication. I see some in the chat right here. Let me read this. By maintaining confidentiality when they are personal conversations, yes. Be willing to give as well as receive that reciprocal. It's hard for me after being hurt. Yes, I get that. Listening, making the effort to spend time with them. Wow, these are all so good. So I'm just going to repeat some of the things that I just shared, and I see more people are coming, understanding of emotions and not judging. I'm hearing a lot of acceptance, non-judgment, an open space for listening, something about like a reciprocal, it's a back and forth. Yeah, wow. Some other things that are popping up, and I asked a couple friends of mine, is through actions and behaviors over time, sort of that consistency. What you also shared, vulnerability and honesty, being able to show up in a space and feel accepted so you can be vulnerable. Fully listening, which some of you shared, and being yourself and not judged, what Bianca shared. So again, how do you build self-trust? How do you learn to trust yourself? It's the same exact way. The same way you build trust with others is the same way you build trust with you. By getting to know yourself more intimately and deeply, by being honest and vulnerable, by being yourself, by knowing, accepting, and loving your whole self and not feeling judged. By consistently, and this is key too with self-trust, by consistently showing up honestly, because what is real true, and honest about you, Lindsay, about you, Dion, about you, Cassidy, today may not be what is real, honest, and true about you tomorrow. We're complex humans that have access to so much information, and we are learning at the fastest rate that anybody ever has. So just know, like, the way you build self-trust is getting to know yourself more, the real you, not the what does perfection look like. For me, that was the biggest thing. I was stuck in perfection. Perfection was my enemy because I thought that meant success and that meant confidence because it got external validation. And what I know is when I'm trying to be perfect, I can't be authentic. I really believe you can't be both. So my next question is, how do you get to know yourself more? So we know that self-confidence equals self-trust. We know that self-trust is getting to know yourself more intimately. Well, how you get to know yourself more is by getting curious, by becoming in wonder about your essence, by asking questions about your uniqueness, your originality, by becoming more aware of who your original self is. So I'm going to share my screen, and this is the second principle that's really been game-changing in my life, and I want to share it with you. We're going to go to the next slide. Is curiosity and self-awareness are key to knowing and trusting yourself. Being in wonder, asking questions are key to knowing and trusting yourself, and trusting yourself is confidence. So are you starting to see how these themes really align with trust and confidence? Okay, cool. So we're gonna get into it, okay? So we're gonna I'm gonna share 4 ways you can choose to get to know and trust yourself through curiosity. Does that sound okay with everybody? Okay, cool. Because before you can own your authenticity and express it and lead from it, you got to know it. You know, before I can own my expression, I got to know myself. So here's way number 1 right here. So the first way that you get to know and trust your authentic self, and we're going to spend some good time here. To give yourself space to get curious and ask questions, like I just said, to help you gain clarity about your uniqueness and answer them with acceptance, like a lot of us said, and without judgment, with self-acceptance and without judgment, and then allow space for yourself to reflect on your answers. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to ask you a lot of questions. So this is why you need your pen. This is why you need your paper. If you have some highlighters, grab those, because what I'm going to ask you, it's going to really answer this overarching question, which I've already said 2 times, is what is honest, real, and true about you right now? So to start with the little question game, I'm going to ask you about 3 different topics. One topic is your wants and desires. The second is your values. And the third are the things that fulfill you and inspire you. And no need to write that down. I'm going to have slides. But what I'm going to teach you right now is a principle. So this is something that you can use on the daily, and you can also teach other people. And it's called the power of knowing what you want. What I've learned throughout life, and give me a little emoji if anybody can agree that it is easy to focus on what you don't want. And it's easy to say, I don't want this, I don't like this, I feel this way, and really speak that to ourselves and others. And what I do know is what you focus on expands. So I want to support each of you focusing on what you do want, to expand. So we're going to intentionally expand our authenticity right now. And what I want you to do is everybody get 3 blank pieces of paper, and we're going to do this together. I'm going to do it with you, and just draw a big circle. So 1 big circle, And just we'll do one circle at a time. So right here. So this is the power of knowing what you want. On the inside of this circle, you're going to write everything that you do want, what you want to welcome in. On the outside, you're going to write down everything that you want to release, that you don't want. And this activity is really going to help you gain clarity on your uniqueness and what's totally you. So any questions on that? If so, just pop in the chat or come off mute. So this first circle, I want you to write at the very top of it, is the power of knowing what you want. Not your parents, not your teacher, not your best friend, the power of knowing what you want. And here we go. The first question, I'm going to share my slide. And whatever comes up, let it be. Don't judge it. What do you want out of your life over the next 1 to 5 years in your relationships, in your career, in your community, in the world? And don't overthink it. Know that you know that you know. And what do you want? What do you want to feel? What do you want to do? For me on the inside, I want to have a loving partner. I want to be a loving partner. I want to impact people. So I'm going to give you a little time to just reflect on that, on your inside of your circle. And I'm going to ask you the same question in a different way. How do you want to feel? If it's hard to think about 5 years, think about tomorrow. Think about 1 year. How do you want to wake up feeling? When it comes Monday morning, if you had the choice to choose how to wake up, what would it be? Now, if you're coming to a little roadblock, put something you don't want. So if something's blocking you, put it on the outside, like a parent's expectation or perfection or to finding the perfect job or uncertainty or struggles or whatever it is, like feeling alone. And I totally get feeling alone, and we're going to talk about that. But just put that on the outside right now. The circle also represents a boundary. Like, no, I don't want that on the outside. And yes, I want this on the inside. And what do you want to do? What are some things you want to do? Do you want to be a service leader? If so, amazing. If not, no, you're not a quitter, and you're opening yourself up to do the things that are true to you. Yeah, so what do you want to do? I'll give you about 15 more seconds, and know that you can always come back to this circle. I look at it at least once a week. So what do you want to do? So I would love to hear from one person. Come off mute and just share one thing that they put on the inside of their circle.
So I put that I would want to, of course, graduate, but mainly just uplift myself and others.
Yes, Miriam. Okay, thank you so much for sharing that. That's so beautiful, and we're all going to have more time to share. We're going to go into our second breakout room in a little bit. So now I'm going to have you put that circle to the side. We're going to do our second of our third circles. So this next circle is all about your values. So this is the power of knowing what you value in life. So a big circle at the top, just put values, and I'm going to share some more slides with you. Share screen, boom. Okay, we're going to go to this one right here. So what do you deeply value in life? Friendship, fun, innovation, dance parties, What do you deeply value in life? And this is another way to ask the same question is, how would you describe your most authentic acoustic self? So when you pull all the layers back, what's left? Is it a caring friend? Excitement? Wonder, an adventurer? Yeah, what is it? Is it somebody who lives in possibility, who's a self-learner, who loves to try new things? And now, to wrap this circle up, what do you not value? Throw a couple things on the outside. For me, I don't value gossip. I don't value doing things an old way just because that's how they've been done. If they don't serve me, I'm not going to do it that way because there's better ways. So an old belief, I don't value perfection. So just really differentiate the two. So what do you not value? And I know many things are coming up. So please use this as a tool after this call to dive in. We're going to go to our last circle. So our last circle is about fulfillment. So if you're right in the middle of a word, finish that word and you can always go back. So this is the power of knowing when you are fulfilled, how you are fulfilled. So just put fulfillment at the top of this circle. And this is our final circle together. So when are you most fulfilled in life? What are you doing? Are you with your nephews? Are you with friends? Are you writing? Are you singing? Are you spending solo time in nature and just being in awe of its beauty? When are you most inspired? Same circle. Where are you? What are you doing? Maybe it's on a call like this, developing and discovering. If you're a service leader, maybe it's volunteering. If you're on a student council, maybe it's planning an event or impacting people. When are you most inspired? I'm recently most inspired when I'm looking at my little 2-year-old niece, Capri. So when are you most inspired? And to finish this circle off, on the outside, throw a couple. When are you unfulfilled or unsatisfied? So just throw a few things, on the outside of that circle. So when are you unfulfilled or unsatisfied? So in about a few minutes, we'll get you in. We're going to put you in a breakout room, and we're going to have you talk about this. But before we do that, I want you to grab all your 3 circles. So make sure they're all in front of you. And what you're going to do is I'm going to give you 60 seconds to do this. I want you to see the alignment. So look at the power of knowing what you want, your values and fulfillment. Where is their alignment? What are the common themes, words, phrases? Circle them, underline them, highlight them. Where is their intersectionality? Where are there there's commonality? So I'm going to give you about now like 45 seconds to just circle a little bit of those. And then we're going to put you into a breakout room for, let's do we'll do four minutes, and we'll do 2 minutes per each person to share. But before then, reflect on them by yourself a little bit. I'm going to go on mute and let you. And one other thing, the words don't have to be exactly the same. One of them could say collaborating, another one could be connecting with people. There's something about community in there. So just circle and highlight. And in your breakout room, you're each for 2 minutes, just talk about some of the common themes and things that came up, because this is your authenticity. This is your uniqueness. I'll see you in a little bit. Have a great time. I'll see you in 4 minutes, everyone. Okay, I think we have everyone back. So now, everyone in a breakout room, were you able to align on at least one commonality between all your 3 circles? Okay, so now that's the first way that you start to really build this knowing, this inner trust, by getting curious about you through questions. Now, the second way I'm going to share right here is by creating affirmations. Creating affirmations that declare your authenticity, that remind you who you are. They're your truth statements. So I really believe that words have power, and what you speak becomes your reality. So how are you speaking to yourself? Are you speaking in judgment and acceptance? In judgment or acceptance, or are you saying the things to yourself that you would say to your best friend? So what I want you to do now is, from the things that you just got in alignment of, I want you to create at least one authenticity affirmation right now. So these are all different options. Choose just one. I am love. I am uniquely me. I'm an act of possibility. I value friendship. I'm inspired by impacting people. My superpower is my peculiar, or my weirdness. I feel most authentic when I'm grateful for. So I'll give you about 30 seconds to create one sentence, and definitely screenshot these, and I'll share these in the chat so you have them. And I would love to hear from one person of this affirmation. So now they're in the chat. One person come off and just share something that aligned in all those 3 circles, and that you use to create an affirmation that really embraces your authenticity. Oh, yes. I value growth. I value honesty. I am grateful for my life and my loved ones. I value healthy friendships. I value family and success. Wow, everyone. Look at this. So this is the second way that you build confidence, that you build that self-trust, is by sharing these statements. Now, the third way, and I'm going to share just this is the third of the fourth way right here, and I'm going to share my screen with you. I love all these shares. I'm definitely saving the chat and reading. The third way is, now that you got curious about what you want, what you don't want, you created affirmations that you're in. The third way that you start to know yourself and trust yourself is try a lot of things. So my advice for you is try a lot of things and experiment. Try things that align with your wants, your values, what fulfills you, and get messy. Get messy in the doing and have some freaking fun. Then allow space for yourself to reflect on this experience. I think of my senior year of college until now. I've tried over 17 different things. I rushed a fraternity. Wasn't for me. I was part of the Richter Center. I did the Disney College Program internship. I was part of American Marketing Association. I worked at Gala Wine Company. I was in PR and marketing. I worked at Lululemon in fitness. So all these things, as I was trying these things, I was discovering things that I didn't know, because I'm like, maybe I like this, maybe I don't. And by doing all this, I discovered more who I was. So I really recommend creating a list after this call of 3 to 5 things that you want to try that align with your values, wants, and your what fulfills you. So that's way number 3. And way number 4 is surrounding yourself in communities where people are living in their full expression and are confidently owning their peculiar. Surrounding yourself with people who are representing their own true nature is the path to giving yourself permission to embrace your authentic self. I think about 7 years ago when I interned at Disneyland. I grew up in a very small conservative town, Madera, and then Fresno. And it was the first time I saw this possibility of people being queer and just living in all their full expressions and being accepted and loved. So I recommend, like, surround yourself with different types of communities that align with your wants, values, and what fulfills you, because trust me, it will support you in knowing yourself. You're knowing yourself more. So I know we're getting to time, and I have about 3 more minutes. So if you have to head out, totally understandable. And if you got some time to stay, I would love for you to stay. Because now that we talked about knowing your authenticity, so we talked about 4 different ways to know your authenticity, I really believe knowing your authenticity is key to owning your authenticity and leading yourself confidently. So I'm going to share this right here so you can write this down. And this is principle number 3, the last principle that I'm going to share. So knowing your authenticity is key to owning your authenticity and leading yourself confidently. So how do you own your authenticity? Well, let me tell you, it's a freaking practice. Owning your authenticity is a practice. Practice makes progress. Practice makes you better. It takes patience and resilience, and it's messy, okay? And that's 100% okay. And just know that as of now, choosing your authenticity, it can be like a habit, like weightlifting, like meditation, like studying. In certain spaces, it may be so easy to be like, oh yeah, in this space, I can show up fully as me, bada bing, bada boom, let's do it. Now, in other spaces, you may feel opposing forces in the world trying to dim your light and tell you to hide. You may conform and hide your uniqueness because it feels easier. I get there. I get you. I've been there. You may be scared of being judged, rejected, or hurt. And please be easy on yourself and show yourself grace, okay? It's a practice, and just continue to show up as you again and again, and know that you're resilient. So 5 ways to practice owning your authenticity. 1 is reflect on the work we just did today. Reflect on the questions that I asked you, ask them to yourself again, maybe next week. The second is to use your authenticity affirmations. Use them, write them on Post-it notes. Create a Canva graphic for your phone, for your computer. Write them in erasable marker on your bathroom mirror. I use mine. One of mine is my endless love, is how I'm achieving my goals, especially when I'm in a funk, when I'm in reaction, when I feel depressed, I go to them. The next, continue to try new things. Continue to step into your power in new settings. And these last ones right here are accountability. I would recommend that everybody on this call share something that they learned or want to step into with someone who's supportive, who's like-minded, and let them know what you're learning about yourself. It's more easeful and fun to do it with somebody. And the last two, music. Create an authenticity playlist that reminds you of who you are. I created one that I'm going to send to all of you. Catherine and Angela will make sure you have it. But this really supports me. When I feel anxious, I play it. Before I go into school and work to ignite my uniqueness, I play it, and especially before a big presentation. And then lastly, movement. This gets you out of your head and into your bodies and your innate intelligence and your truth. So everyone, to really wrap this up, this last question is, how do you lead others with confidence? The answer is the same way you lead yourself, by knowing, owning, and expressing your authenticity. You lead from inside your circles. You lead from your affirmations. You lead from authenticity. And most importantly, know that the more authentic you are, the more relatable and impactful you are to others, the more people want to be around you and collaborate with you, and the more they feel your confidence. And it all starts with knowing and trusting you. So my invitation, I know we're all leading different groups of people, is to take your authenticity and the insights, principles, and tools and questions I shared with you, take them to your leadership team. Tell people about them. Take them to the students that you lead, to your campuses, to your community. And you know, learning happens by doing. Ask them the power of knowing what you want questions. Help them create affirmations. Teach them what you did. Really be in action. Take agency on that. So what I want to just share with you right here is really a wrap up of our time together, of how everything belongs. So in this last really 30 seconds together, before leading others confidently, you got to lead yourself confidently. Self-confidence is built by trust, what we talked about, trusting your abilities, trusting your qualities, your authenticity. And how do you be authentic? Well, get curious and self-aware. That's the key to knowing and trusting yourself. Knowing your authenticity is the key to owning your authenticity. And owning your authenticity is the key to expressing yourself, to living in full colors, and leading yourself and others with confidence. So I want you to remember that your authenticity matters, that your unique presence matters, that your contribution matters. There are 7.8 billion people in the world, and there is only one human like you. Your uniqueness is literally one of a kind. Please never forget that. You are not an imposter. You are an original. You're not a fraud when you're true to yourself, because there is no other human being that can do what you can do in the exact way that you can do it. So step out, be bright, show yourself who you are, show the world who you are. Authenticity is your North Star in leadership. It's the access point to your power, to your confidence, and it's something that you can choose right now and every moment of every day. So be it, get an action around it, connect from it, lead from it, and know it's the key to leading, loving, and being in an act of freedom, full expression, and joy. So I want to thank you all for taking the time to come. I want to thank you for staying a little longer. I could talk about this topic for so long, and just thank you for being you. And one question just to really reflect is, what is one word or phrase that you're going to take from this to your rest of your time at the Lift conference. I'm going to put my Instagram and my website in the chat. Please reach out. I love connecting with college students and just learning about your human experience. You all are so amazing. Thank you for showing up. I know you have lots of things to do, so thank you all.
All right, thank you, Lucca, for the wonderful presentation and such a beautiful insight that you shared with all of us tonight. So what was your favorite part of Lucca's presentation? You could go ahead and share that in the comment section below.
I love how people brought up that little phrase, instead of practice makes perfect, practice makes progress. I love that. Everything.
And don't forget, you guys can also learn more about Lucca at his website that we linked earlier, luccapetrucci.com.
All right. Well, Lucca, thanks again for preparing such a helpful presentation. We also want to thank everybody for coming, and we hope you really enjoyed it. And a few reminders before we go. Please don't forget we have 2 more sessions coming up, one on November 16th with Anaya Francis and Caitlin Goodwin, and on November 19th at 5 p.m. with Dr. Janine Nikosi. We will look forward to you guys joining us for that.
And in addition, don't forget to check our presenter's reflection guide on our website, which will be linked in the comment section. And finally, we would like to thank Lucca for putting together this wonderful session, and we would like to thank our sponsors. So a big thank you to the California Campus Compact, the Jan and Bud Richter Center for Community Engagement and Service Learning, and of course, Fresno State. And on that note, we thank all of you for attending, and we look forward to seeing you at our next events. Enjoy the rest of the evening, guys.